same time, just looking to re-aggress, make sure that they're not losing control of Mound. You love to see this type of operation from Team Secret.
It's just delayed here from Gen.G on that attempt to punish the orb push. Munchkin, once again, under a ton of pressure, has to get the heck out of there. All the utility forcing him back, but he's going to re-aggress on this angle. Looking to see if anybody's going to try to push in. And
Not
goes
ready
in
for the
early.
push out. Yeah, Jeremy coming in. It's going to be a double team as well. I mean, Munchkin not quite finding out that it was 2 members, and it's just kills on all sides, and we see a
Not pan out. Not the Season Nade, the Haunt Nade combo here from the side of Gen.G to try to gain a little bit of extra space, try to put those classics, those brand new, very awesome classics that we have, Will.
I know. I'm still kind of torn on which one's my favorite, but maybe their success rate with classics would change my mind. we do see some cheeky kills with the classics.
So you're a GE fan then. If
well, they're definitely up there. If we ever get Frenzy team skins, right, team capsules, then GE definitely rising all the way to the top of that. But here, Gen.G, I mean, not trying to use any of the utility that costs some credits, so making sure that they're aware of how to claw back into this. Now a reverse stack onto C-site, but Team Secret, they still have a minute on the clock. No reason to push this out. Borka very well aware, and he's going to be able to mow down everybody. Jeremy picks up the last cherry on top with the Vandal. And I mean, no reason to go to the other side. You might as well make sure you're holding the site here for Team Secret. What a disaster for Gen.G.
To Gen.G's credit, there was one player who was aware of it. In the midst of all that chaos, I couldn't quite catch who it was, but kill for Karan. Gets a second. Get some dinks in there. Nice.
The result will favor Team Secret, and now just a full clash onto Rubble. No means of stopping here for Team Secret either, as they just keep pushing through. Borka perhaps overeating just a bit further. Wanted to create a better angle, but his teammates not able to counteract that. Jeremy will finally follow through the snakebite, doing work to cut off Lakia's exit into Link.
Going to pump the brakes a little bit here, and this time Gen.G not going to fall for it. They're going to keep their feet planted as well. Not going to anticipate the rotate this time. They're on at Baby Door. Texture on site. Munchkin in here as well.
Oh, but Jeremy's just so fast on that swing, and now the backup being called over, but Munchkin, he knows he just needs to stay alive. They have to regroup. Texture on an island in tree. They don't have quite the hard sell information yet, but they do still have their suspicions on the side of Team Secret. Very wary of that tree position. Looking for a pinch, and it's going to be the showstopper to make sure that he doesn't get traded out. And Texture taken down. The site taken over by the Filipino squad. Low health not an issue as you get the site. Munchkin trying to come back around, and it's going to be Envy, who was a little too focused on Heaven, trusting his teammates to push out a tree. That does give an opening for Gen.G. Already a tough round, but Munchkin trying to make the best of what he has left. 2v2. Jesse Vash still remaining. Can't win the fight yet, but time in the favor of Team Secret, as Munchkin just can't get the reload in time, and another bonus
Out of any possibility of having a chance. It's just, it's amazing what Team Secret is doing.
Yes. Obviously a grueling schedule and a brutal tournament format, but at the end of the day, going down to that lower bracket in the groups, you do have to claw your way back in. All 3 teams today facing the same scenario. And it just looks like Team Secret came prepared for this moment. Almost as if to say they've always been used to having to claw back in to prove themselves back again once maybe some fans or us along as well for the casters started to lose faith. They always say, no, it's just one opponent, it's just one day. Now clearing out those angles that Gen.G loves to hold. They often have that cross angle set up with the Killjoy utility, so Team Secret noticing that it's a change, and that gives him the confidence to break in. The Seeker's not going to find Meteor in time, and Jeremy stranded on the entry. Still too much utility left to be able to swarm the site. From the shadows onto the A site. This is a risk, but he's going to just stick it all the way through, and Jesse Vash will catch the rotate on Meteor.
Spike planted.
He had him read. He knew that Meteor likes to try to push out immediately. Of course, with Borkum's TP as well, a new wrinkle in Team Secret's attack plans. Texture, though, good for one, not good for the other.
Yeah, that's going to be Envy holding time until Jesse Vash can get through. If Borkum can just stay alive, maybe even win this 1v1 against Lakia. No, Lakia with a nice swing and a crouch will clear out the site. They have information about Rubble. They know that Jesse Vash was still on C site. Will they start the defuse? They're going to look for the stick. It's going to be the Paranoia on one side. Karon still trying to defend the diffuser. They're just going to barely be able to stick it and finally get a precious round win as Envy just gets a nice extra ult point to
win those isolated battles. Something that Gen.G is going to need that of and more if they are going
Sure.
to be able to win this map.
It's looking like a very tough match overall. Secret not only coming prepared in the strats, but the firepower, none of them really backing down from the likes of Texture, Meteor. I mean, even Charon, who Gen.G has been touting, has aim second to none. Now, the push out from Mound allows Gen.G to hold a bit more of a frontward line across the map. B site just being anchored down by the Viper alongside an alarm bot. And this A site seemingly prepared to empty if need be. You do have that Nightfall on Lakia for a potential retake or to delay.
I mean, he's going to have to find a way to get out of there potentially.
Yeah.
He's in a really tight spot.
Oh, and Texture dies as well. That's his only exit plan. Lakia now just has to fight, but gets hit by the paranoia. The paint shell's doing some damage to him as well. Scratched up, can't take the rope anymore, son, as he's just stranded in the middle of the site. The Nightfall will buy time, but Jeremy has not been hit. He takes that full health to try to break it open for his teammates on Team Secret. The smoke comes up, but they spotted him right under it, and Borkum will get the spray. And Jeremy hiding in the smoke already. Munchkin just barely surviving. But too many members of Team Secret already on the site, and it's going to have to be a save for Meteor.
Yeah, this is just a great play here. Texture maybe getting a little over-aggressive or just getting beat at the point. And then that puts Locky on an island. Great combo there with their utility, with the paranoia and the paint shells, knowing that the only exit for that player from tree is going to be towards that ramp in the back of the site. And they made Locky's life miserable. Even with the Nightfall invested, just not a lot they can do.
Yeah, I mean, the Nightfall investment's the one that hurts the most, I think. I mean, you were already stuck. I don't mind the timing of it because obviously Team Secret tried to stall a little bit, tried to wait for their own utility for that set execute to come out. So Lakia thinking he has just enough time to get that decay onto his opponents, bring the backup together, and scare off Team Secret. But Jeremy just barely backs out of the Nightfall, still has full health, still has audio, and says, I will be that scout and the entry that my team needs. Secret, so they will choose to save just that one Phantom carried over from the previous round. And Secret should have a fairly good read on this. The timeout, giving both teams a chance to regroup.
I'd really like to see, honestly, Gen.G go for it here. Like, try to set up a play where they can use Texture's rocket to grab a gun, but, you know, are they even going to be given the chance? It doesn't look like it. Look how far back Team Secret is playing other than their three-man stack. So they're aware that that could be a possibility bouncing in, and a little ambitious there from Jeremy.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps just trying to get the scout onto how many members are stacked up here, and he gets the information, but Meteor still gets two. Now, is he aware of Borkum having crept in? Now he's very well aware. The Prowler providing the backup. That will be weapons recovered as well. And now, I mean, this is the dream scenario for Gen.G. You mentioned perhaps using the Showstopper to recover a weapon, but they're just going to get it for free with Meteor getting the double on the entry.
Yeah, I'd say this is probably the first round of the entire match that's left me scratching my head a little bit with Team Secret. That one a little bit ambitious. Not much help for Jeremy. Envy, though, good against Charon.
That should lead to the spike plan as well on one side or the other. Oh, having a little too much faith that B site was open, though, as Envy still trying to check onto the A side, and that's just walking right through the decay. The Frenzy finishes the job for Munchkin. And Envy now just looking to get maybe the Viper's pit up and ready for the next round as time not on his side. He won't even be able to finish that as Lakia will get that new corner on C site. That's something that Team Secret has been checking for. Every time they attempted the entry into C, obviously it bites them back a couple of those rounds. The 2 rounds that Gen.G actually does get the round win.
Well, you can see here that early on for Gen.G, it's a push towards A main to make sure that this is going to be a C hit. Now you've got Munchkin and Meteor here. Tons of mollies, tons of delay, tons of damage that can come through. And you got the Paranoia at the ready as well for Charon. So this hit comes through for Team Secret. As long as the utility usage is good here for Gen.G, should be a fight in their favor. But seems like for now, Team Secret isn't fully convinced that this is the direction they want to go. Alarm bot to check for Texture over on the other side.
Yeah, and I'm very curious about this because one of the things that plagued Gen.G's opponents yesterday is that even if you knew the setup, you couldn't break it. This time it's going to be the guiding light that absolutely denies the turret that frees up Jeremy to fly high with the Showstopper, and that is going to be the site broken open and actually cleaned up as well. Jeremy and Borkum continuing to fire on all cylinders, and it's just Texture left with the operator in hand. It has to be saved once again. One of the worst scenarios for your opper where you're just holding on for dear life.
Yeah, this is just, it's painful. I mean, Texture's 1-7 right now to make everything it's just really apparent in
Oh,
how
no.
sideways it's going. Yeah, NDG should have him dead to rights here, to be honest.
Mean, it's so quick, right? It's so hard to predict that NGG would have just been chilling the entire time into the middle of the map. Oh no, is he gonna
Yes.
go for it?
Yes!
It's gonna be the Filipino special from NDG. Welcome to Team Secret. You have now been initiated. Some good trades as well, and then of course the finish on the Tondo Gaming. Now leading 7-2, and you called it, Paper Thin. When that happens, when the knife kill comes through, that's when the squad just feels unstoppable, no matter the opponent. And you got to imagine the mental damage done to someone like Texture, who's just been fragging out this entire tournament. Everyone around the world saying this is the moment that Texture's been waiting for in his career, to have teammates who can follow up on all those frags that he's had the entire career. And now he's the one being shut down.
No doubt. It just feels like off the rip, Team Secret able to take the reins of this and really just punish Gen.G in a way that has set them mentally back. They seem exhausted. They seem not as snappy, not as reactive, on top of just being outread in a lot of situations. And it has become do or die for Gen.G. I mean, they need to start getting rounds, and they need to start getting them soon.
Yeah, a little bit of a different setup for Gen.G here. Charon does have the option to back out if things go south on C site. Now one more Nano Swarm waiting, as they do know they like to bait this out, and Meteor just going to be holding that off angle. Will snipe him out of the sky, so Gen.G a good bit of an adaptation after the last one, and Borkum gets a little dicey on that shadow step forward, and Meteor answers back, here to support the team that he's been fighting for the past 2 years, but it's a collab for Jesse Vash. Round still in favor of Gen.G.
Look, it can still happen. You're not out of this by any stretch of the imagination. Well, they're going aggressive.
Well, I mean, if they have that confidence off of that trash talk, they gotta deliver on it. It's going to be a triple kill for Charon on Texture. Still holding on. Lakia here for backup. Is Secret aware that there's more forces? They absolutely are. A 2-for-2 trade in favor of Secret as they now equalize. 2-2 ults on both sides as well. Both sides, Viper and Killjoy. But the early rotate for Munchkin. The lockdown, he wants to find a timing here, wants to isolate the 1v1s. He's got to find it, but Envy lines up the headshot.
And again, an attempted hero play from Munchkin gets shut down.
Spike planted.
Trying to see if he can cut off both these players. Meteor.
Timing, he gets one. He's so quick with it, still got it with the scope, but
Unusual plays, some plays that are going to be off script. Going to be dealt with by Team Secret, but he's going to need to find stuff that isn't in their playbook, stuff they haven't practiced potentially, to try to find ways to break through Team Secret. Because right now, Team Secret has their playbook downloaded. This is something that, you know, Gen.G certainly had to be concerned about coming into today, is that they've showed a lot, and on these maps that both teams are going to favor, you know, particularly on Breeze, and now you're seeing it here on Lotus as well, that there's info. They've already had to tip their hands quite a bit. Gen.G just going to do a little bit of damage to Envy. Meteor takes a little bit. Everybody backing off. Jeremy going to be point of contact. Back up from Borkum on the other side. Paranoia at the ready.
At the minute mark as well, trying to regain control of Robo. It's still a lot of utility, like you mentioned, available to push back the aggressors of Gen.G. Now the Haunt's going to come out. Jeremy pops it out, but the Prowler to follow. But it's just utility trade, and at the end of the day, not much area gained. Eventually, it's just the force rotate onto B, but there's still an alarm bot, a Nano Swarm, and the Toxic Screen as well. Jesse Vash is so prepared for this as they just walk right into the deadliest trap in the pistol round. Spike down past the Toxic Screen. Paint Shells to push him out alongside Snakebite. They'll get that kill, but they have no idea how many more members there might be. That's good news for Gen.G as it's just one member on the site. Now a 3v3. Not aware of Baby Door. It's a quick swing from Texture. Equals it out. NGG tries to find a timing. That's a risky move against the likes of Texture and Munchkin. And the entire crowd here at the S Factory trying to cheer on the home team. His firepower, so when things go south, he's the one who can bring up the rear end rather than always having to lead the charge.
That's a bonus one here for Gen.G, so things starting to slide potentially in the other direction. Let's see if Team Secret still has some depth into this playbook. Envy have to dodge that Prowler. Paranoia now to follow, so has to get out of dodge.
Yeah, they will barely get out with their lives. A little bit of a scratch onto NDG, but I think it'll be counted as lucky stars that he's alive. Secret losing control of Mound, but they will still be able to flood the site. Of course, bit of a half buy here with 2 Marshals and a Vandal.
It's still that showstopper to be considered for Gen.G, so they're really playing patiently. Still the Haunt, another utility available. Jesse Vash getting spammed through the wall.
Yeah, you got to imagine Meteor's also been on the receiving end of that wall quite a few times, so the experience coming through, and Texture will just blast back through. Timing not in favor of Borkum, hands out for the Paranoia and the Shadow Step, and a nice headline search for Texture as he clears out Heaven as well, keeps the defenders at bay. I mean, Meteor bought the time, and Texture has arrived. Gen.G trying to tie things up in what seemed like it would be an impossible map here on Lotus.
No doubt, they're looking so clean. Turret, check positioning. Meteor gonna try to get aggressive on the back of it. Knows the Marshal's there, and he's got the double three in the wrap. The lockdown for Gen.G. Jeremy, though, on an operator and a showstopper of his own. The Odin in play for NDG as well. So you can see the stack towards A. Really, really strong here for Team Secret. This looks to be a trap in the making. Look where those nanos are, too.
Yeah, the deep alarm bot, it is going to signify, but the Prowler pushes him out, and the repositioned Meteor on the timing. Texture all the way up into Heaven. Does not, oh yes he does! I will eat my words as Borkum gets taken down by the showstopper. Thought it was going to be another moment for Texture where he misses an opponent, but it's a 180 swivel with the rocket in the air.
Able to get it down just in time, but now you got to save here, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. You invested into that operator. Sure, you have the showstopper, but now it's absolutely a call. Perhaps thinking they could inch through, maybe get one, fly through with a showstopper, but this is not the moment to play with theories, as Gen.G has very much made the comeback a real possibility, now leading 98 as this round comes to an end. They're on the hunt for these remaining members. They have the credit lead. They've got it banked up. They want to break Team Secret's economy. The real question is the operator, can Jeremy stay alive? He's trying to stay as far back as possible. Not going to be spammed out. Yeah, doesn't want to take that risk as Jesse Vash will pick up 2 to his name. That's the Seekers Online.
Yeah, that's fine. You know, getting the Seekers isn't ideal, but if you're Gen.G, but at the same time, you're still just rolling away with things. Players like Meteor are able to win battles that look like they should be rather tricky. That is a little bit concerning here for Team Secret. Some smokes gain a little bit of space, but the toxic screen is going to stall them up for now. Just a little bit of spam back and forth, nothing connecting.
Yeah, and we do have Meteor on the lurk in B main this time as well, so Gen.G could be very well prepped for a pinch onto B, depending on the util setup, seeing if they can bait out any of that crucial utility, maybe an op shot, maybe an ultimate, whatever it can take to gain an advantage and some information.
And the nanos are a lot further back this time, so Team Secret is going to want to absorb the pressure a little bit more before they spring their trap.
Yep, baby door being broken, so putting some pressure onto the B side. The Paranoia as well, they actually just want to speed on through as Meteor's already taken up all the space up to the entrance. Texture in. The real question is, how do you get out? The Seekers have come through. Texture is hit. He's just trapped in the middle of the site. Spike can't go down. Eventually it does. The Snake Bite's just doing a little bit of damage onto Charon. And now a hold on the site. The lockdown early to make sure that they can buy time, and that's going to allow the pit to come up as well. The showstopper has to be used on one part or another, but the lockdown buys so much time as Jeremy just can't find the approach.
NDG going to try to find a way to sneak in the backside, but Lakia on guard duty there through Baby Door. Texture pushed up far enough, trying to see if I think he can cut off this blast pack showstopper angle if it is going to come through, but I think already Team Secret is saying, well, they invested their ults. Let's really keep our guns because we invested a lot into this round as well. Let's not let this slide any further away. Ooh, a leg tag there, and the finish from Jesse.
All right, I mean, I don't mind the aggression from Texture as well, of course, trying to take him.
He's been sitting on this showstopper for a while. See if he can find some value in it. Right now, though, just covering Mound. Once again, a very similar setup. Jesse pushing way out in the mid here towards the spawn of Gen.G.
I mean, this is a big curveball, right? Even if he doesn't trip that alarm bot, he definitely catches vision of a potential lurk rotate. He knows he has control of the middle of the map. The Meteor just bouncing back and forth. It does feel like Gen.G at some point, if they don't get an easy entry into A, they have plans for a C rotate here, and that could spell trouble given the IGL's position of Team Secret. Now Munchkin just inching forward. You called out the deep, kind of further back utility from the Killjoy last round for Team Secret. It remains the same.
Never got sprung. So the trap is still going to be a little bit
Holding onto the nanoswarm, but that's not going to pay off, and it's just a walk right through as Texture with a wide swing onto NBG, opens up the site. Lakia and Karen following suit. A site broken open, and Jesse Vash just will not find the timing. It does seem like Meteor got a little bit of audio cue there and a little bit of a duel against Jesse Vash. Oh, the timing not in favor, but still the numbers absolutely advantageous for Gen.G. And this has been the switch up, right? Gen.G in the last couple rounds, it's just been quietly walking up until they're ready to spring the execute. And this time, as they see no reaction to the alarm bot, they say, let's just push our luck a bit further. I mean, it looks like Team Secret really wants to wait until the last minute, and they're into the site.
No doubt. It's nice shots from Jeremy, but the money is no problem, no concern at all. Jesse gone.
Okay. No chance for Munchkin.
You don't care if you drop a few guns in a few rounds. This is, you can throw bodies at this all day.
Absolutely good reads from Gen.G, and now they see the strong push back onto Rubble. And they were fairly prepared for it. The spike wasn't picked up at the start of the round.
The Haunt as well, getting so much info on what's going on over there. Wasn't cleared quickly by Team Secret, so Gen.G identifying immediately. Tons of pressure on that side of the map. Let's try another side. Texture now with an op of his own to counter the duelist. Oh, Munchkin might be crossing paths with Jeremy here in a second as this execute is about to happen.
Yeah, it's just going to be quick clear on the utility, of course. Oh, meanwhile on the other side, Jeremy pushes out very far out, though. Picks off the tail end of Gen.G, and that forces her hand a bit. Sure, you have a minute left, but either you need to regain control of A main, or you're going to have to go for a fast push onto C. That latter part, of course, timing not in your favor. A Prowler draws out the showstopper. He doesn't have his goal. He jumps over the rocket. Lakia, you madman! The acrobatics as he keeps the hopes of Gen.G alive in this round.
Unbelievable, Lakia. Unbelievable.
30 seconds.
Where does that come from? Never misses a leg day, that's for sure.
For sure. I thought he was crazy for keeping his knife out, but maybe that's just what you needed to get a little bit more airtime. And now the Nightfall as well to just keep them tied up on the A side. Gen.G, you might be cooking a bit too much though, as there's only 12 seconds on the clock. Kieran's gonna have to jump through and the site is not open. Now it's the From the Shadows. Chooses elsewise. You already saw the pit on A. It's the only site that was open, and he will barely get the plant with 1 second left. Meteor holding the angle. They have to hold on 2 members for now. Backup has already arrived. Lakia still on the lurk. He's gonna run into Envy. That's a death on the side of Gen.G. Texture now holding from main. Meteor trusts his teammates, gets the swing. Contact there, now contact ready for heaven. And Envy's going to start pushing through his so does NDG. Texture all alone. A little late to the party with the operator, and despite the heroics of Lakia, it will be Team Secret clawing back.
Finally, Team Secret is able to find a win in this half. It has been so difficult. We saw this previously with Jesse in that position.
Yeah, and I mean, a little bit of a ego battle there between the Odin and the operator as well. But barely missing shots on each other. Just a little bit of a scratch up on Jeremy.
And I love that Gen.G is taking their time now. It's been working really well for them on this attacker's side. Not many fast hits. They're really working the map, really trying to figure out where the players and the setups of Team Secret are, or at least getting enough space that they can just kind of execute so quick that Team Secret doesn't seem to be able to react sometimes.
Yeah, and I mean, constantly spamming the Odin too. We see it with teams that are good at using the Odin on this map. I mean, for one, obviously you're clearing angles, but two, the sound really helps mask anything else you're doing. Slow creeping up, taking control bit by bit.
Absolutely.
Now, on the minimap, we can see this is pretty much a full send on to A. Maybe a rotate out together in through Baby Door if things really don't go their in the way of their ideas. It's going to be a shot. Jeremy finds a nice timing shot. The showstopper still goes through, but the paranoia holds him at bay. Borkum hiding in his own smoke. The site has been cleared up, but it's going to be Texture answering back against the earlier op shot from Jeremy. A nice clear onto Evan, and he's now taking control of the enemy's smoke. A deep smoke out from Karen as well will keep them at bay a little bit further. Jeremy just trying to pressure if anyone's here. Texture wants to go, and he sees the barrel, but he can't find the kill. Yes, he does right at the edge. The operator down, the raise down for the speed retake, but they will start flowing through. Lockdown. Meteor can stay out of range in tree, just opening the door. Will he actually exit? Yes, he will. They want to hold from outside, just a firing range onto the spike. Now they're locked in over, and it's going to be a quick peek out, but the judge is not what they expected. A 1v1 with Kieran solo. The judge, no, it's the Vandal switch up at long range, but he does not have time. Jesse Vash will try to stick it, but it's going to be too late as Gen.G reaches Meta.
The point of attack by Texture too good, reading those situations so nicely.
Oh, and I love the way that they've been taking control of this rubble as well. I mean, a bit of a different blast pack just to make sure you get out of the head of the paint shells. Haunt onto the side of rubble as well. So Gen.G fully in control of the A site once again. It's a 5-man stack. Do see a Bucky for Jesse Vash, and he found some fun with the judge, but it does get a bit more difficult with the pump action. Kieran in the lead for Gen.G. Had a great save in that previous round, buying just enough time. The second to last kill. The rookie, all eyes on him as an unknown factor. Has been putting up some numbers, but would love to have another map to showcase even more of what he's got.
Gen.G just waiting on some util here. Toxic screen and the haunt going to be available. And that might be the go time. Still the boombot there for Jeremy to maybe cause a little disruption. Because he's going to push the smoke.
Oh, and it's just not going to pay off. His Texture just finds him right away, and now it's going to be the C's. They know that it's caught on to somebody. The Prowler there, they hear the Bucky, and that's timing for Meteor to swing around and get an easy double kill lined up. B site is now open. NDG and Borkum left alone. NDG will swing through with some heroics, but Kieran rookie for rookie, and it's going to be the last kill for Texture as S Factory blows up, and Gen.G bringing us to a map 3.
What? Attacker side here for Gen.G. It looked like it was going to be all team secret, and